Hi, this is John Foley with Information Week, and I'm here at the St. Regis Hotel in Southern California with Sir Ken Robinson, the noted author and expert on education and creativity and innovation, who was just speaking here at the Information Week 500. Sir Ken, you talked about the role of creativity in business and in society, and how many businesses have strategic programs around IT, and how they could also develop those for creativity. Could you expand on that?
Yeah, it's not that long ago that IT was a novelty in organizations, and now it's a necessity. And it infuses all areas of business. And that didn't happen accidentally. What happened was that businesses decided to plan strategically for the introduction of IT to make it part of their overall systems. They trained people, they brought people in who were responsible for it. It's like with any area, if you take it seriously, you plan for it and you give people the job of making it happen. And yet, innovation is something still that many companies, not all, but many companies kind of leave to chance, or it's something that happens in a part of the organization, not all of it. So what I'm arguing is that if we're really interested in innovation, and we have to be, then we should make it a strategic imperative, and that means thinking about it properly, understanding how it is, how it works, and giving people responsibility for making it happen. A lot of it is about looking at systems, but there's a lot you can do too to train people to think more creatively and to work more productively in teams.
And how do you do that? Because you think of creativity as something that you have or you don't have.
Yeah.
It's something that maybe a privileged few have rather than many people. So how do you get a team, a whole organization, get the most creativity out of them?
Well, you're right. I think the problem is that there are lots of misconceptions about creativity. People think it's about special activities, that it's all to do with marketing or design. Well, those things can be highly creative, of course they can be, or advertising, of course they can be. But designing programs, writing software is a highly creative activity, looking at systems, looking at how people can collaborate. Truth is, you can be creative at anything. It's about having original ideas and finding ways of doing things differently and hopefully better. And it should involve everybody in the whole organization. And you're also right that people often think it's either inborn or it can't, it's not there at all. Well, we all have these capacities. Of course, we all, like every other capacity, happen to different degrees and in different areas. But I know people who are brilliantly creative in one field and not at all in a different one. So it's recognizing how it really works and what it is, and then recognize the conditions under which you can make it flourish.
Let's touch on the tools of creativity. Now, many business people have some new tools at their disposal: social media, Twitter, wikis, ways of collaborating. I'm wondering if these platforms represent a new way for businesses to get the most creativity and generate creative thinking within the company, as well as to interact with their customers and people outside of the company.
Yeah, they absolutely can. I was just saying in the session there that technologies themselves are neutral. At the moment, anyway. Computers don't have their own ideas. Who knows how it's going to be 10 years from now, but they don't at the moment. It's like this camera that we're standing in front of, in itself, it isn't going to make a great movie, but Heather, who's directing it, might well. It depends who's using the tool. And it's no question that the tools we have now through social media, through Twitter and Facebook and all the other ones that you've mentioned, have the potential to really fuel one of the great dynamics of creativity, which is collaboration. Often creativity is not the act of a sole genius acting on their own or unilaterally. It comes through dialogue, through conversation, through interaction. It's a dynamic process, and it often benefits most from very different points of view coming together. That's why innovation in many organizations is driven by teams rather than just lone solo people working privately. I don't mean it's exclusive of that, but collaboration and the influence of other people's ideas is a real engine of innovation. So yes, they can do that. And that's part of what I'm arguing for, that I think if companies think differently about how these tools can be used, they can see some remarkable results.
And Sir Ken, last question. So to what extent are businesses doing this now? Are they fairly sophisticated at this, or are we just in the early stages?
It's very patchy, I'd say. There are some companies that do a great job of it, and they vary a lot. And some of them are very well known. Google had a big innovation strategy there. I mean, they're revising it now, I think. Procter & Gamble, when A.G. Lafley was there, had a whole series of innovation pods around the company. GE is like that. But you see it again in much smaller organizations that according to what the business is, people take different approaches. I went to visit Pixar a while ago, and they have some very interesting strategies and tactics. So it's not confined to one industry or another, but I'd say it's still patchy. And there's a lot for people to learn and lots of organizations to learn from. But I think as we get deeper and deeper into the impact of the new technologies, as the world changes more quickly, more and more companies will recognize this isn't a luxury, it's an imperative.
Sir Ken Robinson, thank you so much. It's really fascinating stuff, and thank you for getting us to think differently about
Great
these
pleasure,
things.
John. Thank you very much.
Thank you.